In this exercise, we're going to complete our shape layers by creating a duplicate of the star layer and then cutting the letters and the bars that we still have yet to create out of that star. I've saved my progress as symmetricalcircles.psd. It's found inside the O3 Shapes folder. And in order to cut the letters out of a shape layer, the letters need to be a shape layer as well. So if you have access to the font Birch Standard, you would presumably go ahead and click on this type layer here and press Ctrl-J or Command-J on a Mac to create a copy of it so you don't lose the original type layer. Then you would right-click in an empty portion of this layer like so and choose Convert to Shape. And that will convert those letters to path outlines. However, I've already done it in advance for you, so I'm just going to press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac to get rid of that layer, turn off the live editable type layer, and turn on the vector-based version of that same layer. All right, now I'm going to click on the vector mask thumbnail in order to make it active so we have access to the path outlines. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to 100% by pressing Control-1 or Command-1 on the Mac. Now, the bars above and below the text are copies of this eye right here. So you don't have to draw it or anything. We'll create the bars entirely using transformations. So using your black arrow tool, which I assume you still have selected, go ahead and click on the outline of the eye and then press and hold the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and drag that eye to some other location. And because you have the Alt or Option key down, you make a copy of the eye. Then go up to the Edit menu and choose Free Transform Path or press Ctrl-T, Command-T on the Mac. Right-click anywhere inside the image window and choose Rotate 90 degrees CW or CCW, doesn't matter which, just as long as you perform a 90-degree rotation. Then I'm going to go ahead and drag this guy down and into the letters slightly till it's about right there. Notice the eye is also centered along that vertical guideline. Okay, press and hold the Alt key once again or the Option key on the Mac and drag either the right or left handle in order to scale the eye equidistant away from that vertical guideline, like so. And I want to take the eye until its base there is about midway into the first F. And then finally, I want to scoot the eye up by pressing Shift up arrow 5 times in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that looks like pretty good placement there. Press the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac in order to apply your changes. Now I need to create a duplicate of the eye on the other side of this horizontal guideline, and I'll do that by pressing Ctrl-Alt-T or Command-Option-T on the Mac, which is a keyboard shortcut that performs a transformation on the duplicate of the path outline. And then I'm going to take that little target there and I'm going to move it down so that it snaps into alignment with the horizontal guideline. Then right-click anywhere inside the image window and choose Flip Vertical, and you'll end up getting a bar underneath the letters. Press the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac in order to apply your change. All right, now we need to grab all these guys and copy them so we can paste them into the star. Now that's pretty hard to do with the star visible on screen. So go ahead and turn off that rear layer and then marquee all of the black shapes with the black arrow tool. Just avoid the circles and you'll be good. And that will select all of those shapes. Then go up to the Edit menu and choose the Copy command or press Ctrl-C, Command-C on the Mac. All right, we're done with that layer now, so go ahead and turn it off. Turn the star layer on. Click on it to make it active and press Ctrl-Alt-J or Command-Option-J on the Mac. And let's go ahead and call this duplicate layer Holes because it's the version of the star with the holes in it. Click OK to create the duplicate layer. And just so I can tell things apart, I need this layer to be a different color. So I'm going to double click on its color swatch to bring up the color picker dialog box. And I'm going to change the hue value to 30. So we're looking at bright orange and click OK. All right, make sure that your vector mask thumbnail is selected here inside the Layers panel. Then go up to the Edit menu and choose the Paste command or press Ctrl-V, Command-V on the Mac, which goes ahead and registers those path outlines exactly in that same place from which you copied them. Now we want these path outlines to cut holes in the larger star shape, so go up to the Options bar and click on the Subtract from Shape Area icon. And that'll go ahead and express those letters and bars as holes. All right, those are our base shapes. Now, what I advise you do, you don't have to do this, but before you apply Repose to any of these shape layers, which you know basically busts up the shape layers so you can no longer modify them as shapes, you probably want to grab all this stuff and protect it. And the way I recommend you do that is click on the rear layer, shift-click on the balls layer in order to select all those layers. You can also press Ctrl-Alt-A or Command-Option-A on the Mac to select all layers. And then go up to the Layers panel flyout menu and choose New Group from Layers and go ahead and call this new group Originals and then click OK. Now twirl open that Originals group, click on balls in order to select it, and then press the control key and click on these other two visible layers, holes and rear, and that's the command key on the Mac. And very important, do not click on the vector thumbnails because that'll just generate a selection outline. And if you do accidentally generate a selection, press Control D or Command D to deselect the image, then try again. But basically, you've got a control click or command click in an empty area. And then, if you're into these tricks, we got another one here. Press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and drag in an empty area of one of these selected layers. Do not drag inside the vector thumbnail or Photoshop thinks you're trying to duplicate that vector mask. Instead, drag out here. With the Alt or Option key down, drag all the way to the top of the Layers panel so you get that black horizontal bar and drop. And that'll create a copy of all three of those layers. So you can see we now have copies of these layers both outside the folder and inside the folder as well. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and twirl close that folder and turn it off so that those objects are safe and sound. So just a precaution, you can choose to do it or not, totally up to you. In the next exercise, we're going to extrude the 6 circles inside Repose.